Coming up on the season finale of Hoosier Sports Night, the quest for 9 begins in Cary, North Carolina.
And football players are fleeing to the transfer portal faster than you can say Indiana. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome to the season 24 finale of Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Talia Goodman.
And I'm Ryan Canfield.
It really does pain me to say this as an IU student, and I'm sure it pains you too, but Purdue has now surpassed Indiana in the AP poll for college basketball. How much does that hurt?
It's a long season, that's all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Purdue is frauds. I know you have some thoughts about that, but I think they're the real deal, and it really is upsetting.
We'll see.
But the Indiana men's soccer team is headed to their 22nd College Cup appearance this week in Cary, North Carolina. As the field is down to the final 4 teams, Indiana head coach Todd Yeagley knows the importance of what's to come.
We've been fortunate to have appeared quite a bit over the course of our history, and yet it's like it's your first time. The excitement it feels the same as the first time I've been to a College Cup. You know, as a player. Pitt has the same experience though, Jared, as you know. I mean, that's the matchup, and they were in the same game, and so they have a similar amount of players returning. A really, really good team with a lot of talent. There's a lot of pride that goes into what we do. There's certainly a consistent level of good talent. Every group that we have, there's a belief that is part of wearing the jersey. At the end, it's about winning and advancing.
With a win, the Hoosiers will advance to the national championship game on Monday and take on the winner of Syracuse and Creighton. Be sure to follow along with beat reporters Kara Adams and Amanda Foster for live coverage from North Carolina.
On Sunday, the Indiana women's basketball team had a nail-biter against Illinois. Our Brianna Baylog has more.
The Indiana women's basketball team continue their undefeated season in a nail-biting 65-61 win over Illinois.
You know, this is one of those games, and as we said to the our players, anytime you have a number by your name, you're the opponent's biggest game, and so we better get used to this territory because, as I said to them, everybody's coming after you.
While the team is still learning how to play without star guard Grace Berger, they've looked to junior Chloe Moore McNeil to lead the offense, and she has delivered.
I just know my team and my coaching staff is looking at me to be more of the point guard and kind of lead everybody. So, I mean, if I score, I score. But if not, I mean, I look to facilitate to my teammates.
A challenge for the Hoosiers was Illinois guard Makara Cook, who put up 33 points for the Fighting Illini.
Said she was cooking, no point in ten, with her last name being Cook, but she was really, really good today. And you face players like that you just can't figure out, an answer for them. You just hope that you can keep the rest of them quiet.
Well, it came down to the final minute of the game, and it was a battle of what team wanted it more. All tied up at 60, Mackenzie Holmes relayed a very specific message to her team.
I was just saying one stop, I have full faith in our defense and what we do defensively, and I know that we're built for moments like these, and I just wanted to, go up to them and remind them that, we're good. We just need one stop, and we're all fully capable of getting that stop.
On Thursday, the Hoosiers traveled to State College to face Penn State in their first true Big Ten road test. From Assembly Hall, Brianna Baylog, IUSTV Sports.
The Hoosiers look to continue their undefeated season and improve to 10-0 tonight when they take on Penn State.
Coming off a tough loss in New Jersey on Saturday, the Indiana men's basketball team looked to avenge the loss against Nebraska last night. Hank Joseph has the latest from Assembly Hall.
The Indiana men's basketball team won their first Big Ten game of the season over Nebraska, 81-65. And shockingly enough, Trace Jackson Davis once again made history for the Hoosiers.
I never once addressed it at all. I mean, it's a part of our game.
What Woodson never addressed? Jackson Davis securing only the third triple-double in IU men's basketball history, with a stat line of 12 points, 11 boards, and 10 assists.
honestly just solidifies why I came back. I came back to do big things, not only individually, but with the team too.
The biggest thing is his unselfishness and his willingness to pass. And I think that's a big part because, I mean, he knows he can score, and obviously teams are trying to take that away.
While Trace Jackson Davis's triple-double will make national headlines in the win over Nebraska, he couldn't have done it without help from starting guard Trey Galloway, who poured in a career-high 20 points in place of the injured Jalen Hood-Schifino.
The good thing is getting him back healthy, because he works. I mean, I have no problems with that kid. I mean, he works his butt off on the floor. In practice, he gives you effort, and it spills over in the game.
For many, an injury in the offseason can hamper you in practice, but in Galloway's case, it may have been the best thing for his improved jumper.
I did a lot of time just shooting because I was out with my groin injury, so I couldn't really move much, and a lot of it was just stationary shooting and just repetition, the same thing over and over again, and trying to just shoot it the same way every time. So I think just that alone really helped.
Indiana fans hope this is momentum that can spill over into their toughest test of the season when they take on 10th-ranked Arizona Saturday night in Las Vegas. Hank Joseph, IUS TV Sports.
After Vegas, the Hoosiers take on another ranked opponent in Kansas on the 17th. Follow along with Hank, Evan Kamiko, and Josh Bodie, who will be in Lawrence with the IU basketball pregame show and reporting from the game.
A lot of mystery currently surrounds the Indiana women's soccer program. Joining us in studio with more is our IUS TV Sports women's soccer reporter, Kelsey Dennehy. Kelsey?
Thanks, Ryan. It has been a quiet few weeks since the Indiana women's soccer team wrapped up a 3-7-7 season. But that silence was broken last week when sophomore Jordan Levy announced via Instagram that she will be transferring to St. John's University come the fall. Levy started in 6 out of 16 games for the Hoosiers this fall, totaling 2 goals and 1 assist in all 16 matchups. This came as a drastic shift to her star freshman season with 4 goals, 2 assists, and 11 starts for the Hoosiers. Head coach Erwin Van Bennekom has yet to make a statement on Levy's transfer, nor has the rest of the women's soccer program. St. John's head coach Ian Stone has not hesitated in expressing his excitement for Levy's arrival. In a press release announcing Levy's commitment to the university, Stone shared that he believes Levy is, quote, one of the most exciting attacking players to have come out of Long Island in the past 3 years, end quote. While Hoosier fans are happy for Levy and her return home to New York, many are sad to see her go, reminiscing on the star role model and player she could have been for this growing women's squad. Be sure to follow along with IUS TV Sports for all women's soccer offseason updates. Best of luck to Jordan on her future endeavors. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kelsey. Coming up after the break, we crown our final Hoosier highlight athlete for the semester.
Plus, we have the recaps for swim and dive, wrestling, and more. You're watching Hoosier Sports Night.
Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night.
Joining us in studio for this week's Hoosier Highlight is IUS TV sports reporter Brendan Tanaka. Brendan?
Thanks, guys. This week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week is Indiana women's basketball star Mackenzie Holmes. Holmes has scored 20 points or more in her last 5 contests, helping the Hoosiers stay undefeated this season. Most recently, when Indiana played Illinois, Holmes scored 23 points and brought down 6 boards to lead IU to the victory. This performance was stellar enough for her to be named Big Ten Player of the Week. She'll try to continue her 20-plus point streak tonight as Indiana travels to University Park to take on Penn State. That wraps up this week's Hoosier Highlight. Talia, back to you.
The Indiana swim and dive teams ended the last meet of their fall season with exciting wins against the University of Cincinnati. During an award ceremony before the meet, the men's team received their Big Ten championship rings. Along with their conference honors, Brendan Burns and Taryn Gilliland received their NCAA championship rings, forcing them to change their banner of individual champions to 374. Gilliland has also been crowned the 2022 Collegiate Swim Coaches Association of American Women's Diver of the Year. this team was not short of accomplishments during the meet as well, with junior Maxwell Reich earning himself the 5th fastest time in the nation, and Rafael Miroslaw earning the 10th fastest time in the nation in the 200 free. Next up, the Hoosiers will begin their spring season facing Michigan on January 14th.
The Indiana wrestling team traveled to Newark, New Jersey for the Garden State Grapple. The Hoosiers faced Drexel first and won 29-6. Later in the day, they went on to defeat Binghamton 25-16 to move to 4-0 on the season. A key contributor was 31st ranked freshman Henry Porter, who won his first match 3-2 and his second 5-4. Another impressive wrestler was number 30 ranked junior Cade Rooks, who won by a fall in his first match and won 9-2 in his next one. Number 15th ranked DJ Washington continued to impress as he won both of his matches. The Hoosiers will travel to Reno, Nevada for the Tournament of Champions on Sunday, December 18th. Make sure to follow along with Griffin Healy, Adam Oppenheim, and Logan Toon for all things Indiana wrestling.
Indiana football went 1-1 in its last 2 games of the 2022 season. Our IUS-TV sports reporter Riley Woodall has the recap of a year filled with adversity and an Indiana team who struggled to find its footing.
A season summed up in one play.
You know, it's just tough. It's just tough. I hate it for him. He's an amazing young man. So, you want my reaction? I just kind of no words, to be honest with you. So, but it's part of the game. You got to learn to adjust and adapt.
There wasn't much expectation for Indiana football heading into 2022, but after a hot 3-0 start, the hype began to build up once again. Unfortunately, injuries and losses define a 4-8 team and leave Hoosier fans wondering what could have been.
We had toe ligament injuries this year, which is like hardly ever heard of that in my career. I had several of those. We're going to evaluate it, but it's hard to, it's hard to prevent some of these. They are part of the game, and it's just tough, So no excuses. You got to have other guys step up. That's the bottom line. But I hate that those guys weren't able to be part of this game.
The future for Indiana football is grim, to say the least. It's like The Empire Strikes Back in Star Wars, where the bad guys win and the good guys are scattered. With Dexter Williams undergoing surgery, a mass exodus of players into the transfer portal, and the uncertainty of Tom Allen staying as head coach, the questions are many and the answers are unknown.
Team don't quit. I know I got a lot of fighters with me. There's nothing that them boys do that I don't appreciate. They still come in here and work hard just like everybody else. So it's just a matter of little ticky-tack stuff that we got to fix, and I feel like we're going to get it fixed.
The program is treading water and heading into a sink or swim off-season. Gone are the days of 2020, but 2023 could be the comeback story this team wants and so desperately needs. From Bloomington, Riley Woodall, IUS-TV Sports.
It would indeed be a huge comeback story for this team that hasn't seen big success since 2020, but without a doubt, it's a make-or-break offseason for Indiana. Be sure to keep up with all offseason updates as the 2023 calendar year is less than a month away.
After another disappointing season, the transfer portal drama has started in full force with the Hoosiers, with key players entering their names in the portal. The long list starts with one of the biggest names of them all, freshman linebacker Desan McCullough, who had 30 solo tackles and 4 sacks this season. Other defensive players that have entered their name include Christopher Keys, Lemuel Watley-Neely, and Richard Thomas Jr. On offense, 3 Indiana quarterbacks announced that they will be elsewhere next season. Jack Tuttle was the first to announce, announcing it before the season ended. Tuttle has been with the program since 2019 and started 1 game for IU this season before going out with an injury. Grant Gremmel and former starting quarterback Connor Bazelak announced the move in late November. Bazelak started most of the games for Indiana this season and helped the Hoosiers take down Illinois in his IU debut. Another big offensive loss for Indiana is tight end A.J. Barner, who had 3 touchdowns in 2022. The Hoosiers starting kicker will also leave campus and have his name left in the record books. Charles Campbell has 37 made career field goals, which is good for 8th most in program history, including a game winner this season against Western Kentucky. Other offensive players that have entered their names are Javon Swinton, Malachi Holt-Bennett, and Randy Holtz. Tom Allen and company have a lot of holes to fill for next season, especially if starting quarterback Dexter Williams isn't healthy for 2023.
Joining us now in studio with the Candy Stripe Calendar Report is IUS-TV sports reporter Spencer Hoffman. Spencer?
With finals week around the corner, we have a light weekend for Hoosier athletics. On Friday, Hoosier Track and Field will be competing in Bloomington at the Hoosier Open inside Harry Gladstein Fieldhouse starting at 3 p.m. Then for a nightcap, the men's soccer team is back in the College Cup for the 22nd time. Todd Yeagley's squad will look to end the quest for 9 with a Final Four matchup against Pittsburgh at 8:30. On Saturday, Trace Jackson Davis and your number 14 Hoosiers will be in the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada to take on the number 10 Arizona Wildcats at 7:30. How will the Hoosiers do against their toughest competition of the year? I guess we'll have to wait and see. And don't forget, on Monday, USA Diving Winter National Championships start in Morgantown, West Virginia. To stay up to date with your Indiana Hoosiers this weekend, make sure to follow IUS-TV Sports. That's it for this week's Candy Stripe Calendar. Talia, Ryan, back to you.
And that's our show for the week and the year. Thank you so much for tuning in all semester long.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUS-TV Sports. For our production crew behind us, I'm Ryan Canfield.
And I'm Talia Goodman. We'll see you next time.